Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Pereira. Students of Jawaharlal Nehru University have been upset ever since the institute released its e-prospectus for its 2017-18 admissions process last month, in which it announced a massive cut in MPhil and PhD intake. The university will admit only 242 research scholars this year, and 83% cut from the 1,408 seats for 2017-18 approved by the Academic Council. For a university that's arguably India's best research university, that's bad news. JNU watchers and several of its faculty say that they worry that the seat cut will affect the university's standing as a key contributor to India's higher education staffing. The JNU administration, however, says that it's only implementing the UJC regulation that puts a cap on the number of students a teacher can supervise. Besides, it says that teachers in JNU anyway exceeded the cap by a huge margin. Joining me on the program today are TK Arun, editor Opinion, The Economic Times, Professor Rajvir Sharma, RSS thinker, Sudesh Verma, spokesperson of the BJP, Aditya Mukherjee, Professor, Center for Historical Studies, JNU, and Mohit Pandey, President, JNU Students Union. Thank you so much to all my guests for joining me on the program today. Professor Mukherjee, I'd like to begin with you. What is the reason behind this sudden seat cut as far as research scholars are concerned?
See, as I see it, the reason is not academic. The reason is political. The reason is a part of the attack on JNU that started from February last year. And that itself was part of a larger plan. And that plan was evident in, for example, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, senior leader of the BJP, his statements that JNU should be closed down, it should be fumigated. Similar statements were made in RSS journals, right? So this was a picture that the JNU is an independent thinking institution and it must be stopped. That was it. The argument that is being now used to cut down seats is, in my opinion, absurd. I've never heard a situation where in India, teachers are saying that, please, we want more students, but the administration is saying, no, you can't have more students. And it is not as if JNU has become a bad university by taking more students. The government itself is rating us repeatedly as number one, number two in the country. So we are managing to do the research. We want those students, but the government tells you, no, you mustn't have those students. The result is that, for example, my center, the History Center, the largest in the university, is going to have zero admission.
Yes.
So our entire MA batch, people who've struggled very hard from remote parts of the country and got into JNU, they have nowhere to go. This is absurd. And for another reason, we are being made to pay a price for what was clearly the government's fault. It is an act of parliament in 2007 when the OBC reservations occurred, which doubled the number of students. The government also said that we will also double the number of faculty, increase the number of faculty commensurately so that the proportions remain the same. Now, while the student intake increased over 3 years, the faculty recruitment hasn't happened.
Fair enough.
So why should the students pay for it? Especially when the faculty is saying that we are willing to teach. Now, the answer to this should have been, you recruit the faculty, there is still time. Over 2 or 3 years, you can adjust this thing. But what is the need to suddenly close down the university? I see it as yet another attack on one of the finest institutions of this country.
Okay, fair enough. Let me take the point that you're making to Sudesh Verma of the BJP now. It's a political decision. Sudesh Verma, the professor is suggesting here that it's a political decision and not an administrative decision. And the BJP is targeting, or the government is targeting, independent thinking in the long run.
Frank, let me first tell you that I myself come from JNU. I have done my MPhil from there. I have spoken to those in the government about this issue. And let me tell you with a lot of authority, which is at my command, that nothing of the sort which my dear professor was saying actually exists. You see, no party or government in its right mind can ever think of demolishing JNU as an institution. JNU has been rated as the second best research institution during our regime. We are aware of that. But there are certain facts, you can't quote a statement of Dr. Subramaniam Swamy to say that this could be government's policy. Government is more than that. You see, if you go by facts, and we must try to judge everything by facts, then it's in the norm of the UGC that there has to be a ratio maintained between students and teachers. It's a fact that one professor guiding 25 student research scholars, would they be able to do justice? One professor can say, yes, I can do justice, no doubt about that. But there has to be certain norms. As for example, as the Vice Chancellor of the university has quoted, that in IIT, if you go, you have the ratio of 3 or 4 student per teacher. The problem is JNU is that there are 300 vacancies of teachers lying vacant and mostly belong to SC, ST and OBCs. So once these vacancies are filled up, and if you multiply it by average of 4, then you would get back to the normal situation. So the situation that existed in JNU was not normal, was something which was not right, the way it was happening. And they were warned of the situation in 2016. So now that the university has decided to implement the UGC norms, so naturally there is 80+% cut in the intake of students. But gradually over a period of 2 years, this is going to normalize. This is what the Vice Chancellor has said, this is what the aim of the government also is. So no one is trying to victimize anything. Something happening, some controversy in JNU happening, this doesn't impact the policy of the government towards that. If we have an ideological problem in JNU, we know how to fight the battle ideologically. We are not going to allow the students to suffer. We understand the contribution of JNU to society.
Fair enough. Okay, point taken. Let me get in Mohit Pandey and get a student's perspective on this particular issue. He is the president of JNUSU. You know, Mohit, as far as your thinking is concerned, and you know all that the students have been through in the university as such, you've time and again, the students union has time and again said that the Vice Chancellor has assured them all throughout that there is not going to be a cut in the intake of research scholars seats. But now suddenly you're in a position where not even 200 research scholars will be taken this year. What has led to this?
See, first let me make a point. It is not only JNU where seat cut is happening. There are a lot of universities where seat cut is happening. It is Varda University, Central University Varda, where seat cut is happening. Maulana Azad National University where seat cut is happening. Allahabad University where seat cut is happening. So the other thing that Mr. Verma was pointing out, I'm just curious, who has the responsibility to recruit teachers? BJP has been for 3 years has been in government. Our Vice Chancellor has been in office for last 1 year. So students cannot take responsibility and start recruiting the teachers. The teachers should be recruited by the government, by the UGC, by the MHRD or by the administration. Why we have to suffer? Now 1,000 students has to suffer. In 1,000 students, 500 will be the women students because we have deprivation point, gender deprivation points, and now they have been also cut. So who has, students are being suffered, students are being made suffer because of government's delaying tactics. Who did not do recruitment? I think they should give the answers here. They should not make some tactics ki next year this will be. But what will students do this year? Where will they go? That is the main question.
Okay. So Sudesh Maru, a quick reaction before I get in my other panelists also, because I've got two other panelists who want to come into the program as well.
Yeah, I would like to answer that. You see, if you are aware of the recruitment process in JNU, you would know that academic council plays a very important role. Vice Chancellor appointed by this government has been there only for a year now. You see, it has been the inconsistencies, it has been the efforts of the previous regimes in JNU that so many teachers were not recruited. That is an issue that needs to be handled. But when you implement something, actually calling it cut in the intake is not the correct thing. Actually, officially there was excess of it. So now the process has started that is going to normalize the situation.
Okay.
So there of course is going to be pain, because if you take such decision, it's painful, we understand. But at the same time, you cannot allow the quality of education to suffer. And internationally, when there is a ratio of 1:3 or 1:4, how is JNU going to justify a ratio of 1:25?
Okay, fair enough.
Issue. Should JNU be treated separately just because it wants to be different?
Okay, fair enough. One at a time, please. I'd like to bring in my other guests as well, because we've got 5 guests today.
I'm talking with facts.
Yes, fair enough.
With facts.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You made your point. You made your point. Fair enough. Professor Sharma, at the end of the day, why should the student suffer? Do you believe that this is enabling the students to suffer, or it's going to enhance the quality of education in JNU and help the student in the long run?
I would place it in a different perspective. Firstly, I would have been happy if the teachers and students of JNU would have gone on an agitation when the teachers were not being recruited in JNU for the last 3, 4, 5 years. as even on the slightest issues, even CCTV they are agitating. Why do they not come on the street that we are not having adequate faculty? And therefore, the administration has the responsibility, the government has the responsibility to give us faculty. This is one. I mean, this is something which now they are raising because I think they are also playing politics. Some students and some teachers are in politics in JNU. And this is unfortunate that it is really telling on the health of the university. This kind of agitation, the kind of opposition on every step, I think it's not fair. It's not fair for the interest of the teachers or of the students as well, or the overall quality of education. Now, so far as the student suffering is concerned, you know, students and teachers have gone to the court on this issue. High Court they have gone to, and the High Court has said no, nothing doing. Whatever rules and regulations are being framed by the UGC, UGC is the controlling, or you can say the regulating authority, and therefore regulations and rules have to be similar to all the universities, irrespective whether it is JNU, DU or any other university. Now, if the universities start saying that no, we will follow our own rules, and come what may, we will not allow the things to happen, I think it would lead to lawlessness. It would lead to chaos in the universities.
Okay, sure.
And
Sure.
yeah.
Okay, let me get in TK Arun as well. You know, let's look at the bigger picture now. You know, as far as the standing of the university is concerned, do you believe that this is going to enhance it, or is it going to further affect it?
It's not just this university. See, 1,200 research seats are being removed this year. This means around 1,200 students who would have joined the research programs of JNU, completed their research, and joined the teaching profession or some other responsible fields of in this country are being denied an opportunity to do that. So all those institutions where these people are joined are also being penalized. So it's not one JNU, or it's not just one batch of students who are finishing their masters this year in JNU, but the entire country and the higher education system of the country will take a toll for a completely unimaginative way of attacking this problem. If there is a mismatch between the prescribed student-teacher ratio and what it obtains in JNU, the solution, as Professor Mukherjee said, is to employ people, recruit teachers. You can do it in a hurry. You can actually, hasten the process, and over the next 3 years, you can bring it up to speed. So why can't this be done? Why should students who are hoping to join MPhil and PhD and become teachers in colleges and researchers be denied this chance? Why is it so difficult? And as also has been pointed out,
Do you sniff a political motive?
I don't know, there might be a political motive. I think it's also a complete lack of imagination. But such lack of imagination can't exist in a vacuum. So there must be some political motive. There must be a motive to punish the students for having agitated against this government last year. I think this is completely unfair, and it is counterproductive. At a time when this nation needs to progress in higher education, in the sciences, in the social sciences, in various other fields, and we are desperately trying to create world-class universities of eminence, and produce high-quality research scholars, you cut down the research intake of the premier research university in this country, you are shooting yourself in the foot. Why would you do that?
You know, Sudesh Verma, Professor Sharma, I know you wanted to make a point. I'm coming to you, but Sudesh Verma, you know, the same NRIF standings have put the JNU as the #2 ranked university in the country. The present system clearly is working. Why not let the current system continue for some more time and then bring in more teachers on board as you go along and enhance the quality of education in the years to come?
It's precisely to increase the standards of research in JNU that the UGC has decided that it should be implemented uniformly. Because if you want to actually rate a university's status, of course it is the second most important institution within the country. But if you rate whether these researchers are linked to the society, whether the professors are able to give enough focus on each student, it's not like MA class, where one person speaks and everybody listens and grabs depending on his ability to grasp the situation. In research, you have to motivate people, you have to keep focus on each student. So the span of attention is very important. If you want to disregard the span of attention, then you are going to reject all the scientific theories that have said about teacher-student ratio. Why is the IIT taking 1:3 or 1:4? You have to look into that also. So JNU, if we are trying to improve this standard, it is not the other way around. The standards will improve. It's just a matter of a few years, maybe 2 years, that an academic council is the supreme body that decides. Academic council has decided to implement it. So where do you blame the government for that? And that too, tomorrow when recruitment has to take place, nothing happens without the academic council of JNU, which is a very powerful body. So that the body could not look for teachers coming from OBC category or SC/ST category. It is appalling. So now the situation must improve.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, Mr. Sharma, you wanted to make a point.
I just wanted to say that government, in fact, as Mr. Verma has said, in fact, the government does not come into the day-to-day functioning of the university anywhere in between. And it is the prerogative of the university to advertise the posts and recruit people. So that's what I said, that had they made up a pressure on the university administration in the last 3-4 years, perhaps that situation might not have come. And secondly, there are certain limits to guide students, and I think this is a fair kind of a decision that a professor or a reader or an assistant professor, in fact, their number is decided, and there must be some objective logic behind this. Why they are fixing it at 8 or 4 or 2 or 6, hypothetically, they must have debated this issue very well as to why there's a need to fix that cap. It means that there is some kind of a focus that is needed more on the student. The teacher must give, some kind of individual attention to the researcher.
Okay, fair enough. Professor Mukherjee, so as is being suggested by Professor Sharma and Mr. Sudesh Verma, that in the long run, the teachers or the professors are being helped out this way so that you can individually concentrate on the students, and the student too, is can develop holistically.
This is one help we can do without. I mean, as this American saying goes, if it ain't broken, why fix it? This system is doing very well.
But
there is no lawlessness.
They are suggesting that it can do even far better than what it is currently doing.
Just 1 minute. There is no lawlessness, there is no chaos, as Professor Sharma was saying, that if JNU does its own way. University autonomy does not necessarily lead to chaos. Some of the world's best universities do not run like factories. You do not say, Professor 8 students, Associate Professor 5 students, Assistant Professor. This is absurd. The proportions keep changing. If it is true that some professors in JNU have very large number of students. Now this is being misinterpreted, as was done by the BJP spokesperson just now, to say that they have a ratio of 1:25. One professor has 25 students. JNU doesn't have a ratio of 1:25. It has a ratio of something close to 1:8. But that apart, if there is one professor who's having too many and others who are too little, the solution is handle that. See to it that there is a better distribution among teachers. The solution is not to cut down on admissions at all. I mean, this is really throwing the baby with the bathwater. There is absolutely no reason to do it. It can easily be handled, as Dr. Arun said, over a period of 2 or 3 times. Why the necessary shock being given, as I said, to a premier university of this country? We are being painted, and this is not the first time. I wouldn't have spoken so strongly had it been the first time. For the last 1 year, we've been painted as this university which produces Deshdrohis, like the BJP spokesperson, like the editor of Economic Times, I mean, like the current foreign secretary. We've produced some of the finest people in this country. Now, why this image being created that we are doing everything wrong, there is lawlessness, there is chaos? I think that is absolutely absurd. You're just ruining a good working institution.
Okay.
Please help it rather than fix it where it doesn't need fixing.
Fair enough. Mohit Pandey, the JNU Students' Union has said that this is unacceptable, the seat cut is unacceptable, and you're not going to accept it no matter what. So what's your future plan of action? How are you going to take up this issue?
See, we have challenged the court decision also, and first of all, we did not challenge the UGC's policy in the court. We challenged that how it has been brought, because there was no discussion, debate in the court, and that what we will challenge. The other thing is that the country is being run on some illogical grounds. Now they come and they fearlessly spoke like lies here. See, first of all, in foreign countries, there is no resource crunch. People have teachers, people have resources, That's what they can claim, that 1:3 and we can maintain 1:4. First of all, come and claim that we can give resources, and then talk about the others ideal kind of situation in faculty. Beyond ideal situation, we are doing the best. We are doing the best according to HRD. We are doing the best according to President of India. So don't punish the students. Don't punish the students of this country. Don't punish the students from the deprived section, because you have taken our deprivation points also. Don't punish the women students. You are saying that Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Now where will Beti will be taught? Now you have taken 500 seats of girls students. So see, these illogical grounds cannot work. If you have to, and I want to tell Professor Rajvir Sharma sir, see, we have agitated on this ground also to recruit new faculties. You just go through our posters of JNU. You have collected lot of posters. RSS Fellows has collected lot of posters. I know that thing. Please go through these posters. We have agitated several times to recruit the faculty. It is not BJP Congress. Whichever governments are coming and they are not recruiting teachers, we are saying recruit teachers. See, there are in India, there are several one school teachers. You know why? Because teachers have not been recruited. It is not students' fault that they have to study in one school. So who is responsible for this? And we are not responsible. Certainly, HRD minister is responsible, VC is responsible, so punish him. This is the...
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. You know, TK Arun, do you believe that the situation right now in JNU, with everything that's been happening there, with everything that the government is doing, I want to know from an independent liberal journalist, is the situation getting too out of hand? Is it going to lead to a situation where it cannot be controlled?
I don't think the situation is going out of control. That's not the danger. The danger is of a systemic deterioration. Today we have a situation where roughly 10% of the students who finish school go to college. We want to raise it to 20% and more. We have this grand dreams of becoming a knowledge economy, of students actually being specialized in various skills and fields of knowledge. So we need to increase the number of people who go to college after finishing school. If these people are to go to college, you must have college teachers on a sufficiently large number of scale. So we need more and more people finishing their MPhil and PhD and becoming college teachers. So we need a larger research intake across India. This is what the national goals require. So a policy should be tailored to meet this goal, right? Now, the current way of implementing a UGC norm is going just in the opposite direction. If you wanted to improve the teacher-student ratio, have a 3-year or work out a time frame in which you can do this and hire teachers. No JNU Teachers Association or Students Union will oppose hiring teachers. They will welcome it. Who is standing in the way? So obviously it's not the teachers or the students. If there has been administrative lapse on the part of previous administrations or in the earlier part of this current administration, why penalize the students of JNU or the students of other colleges where these would-be teachers will go and teach? Why punish them? So don't punish students for this, for past lapses. Hire teachers over a period of time during which let the existing teachers guide students in the manner that has got them qualified as a place of excellence even today.
Sure.
So
they
will not suddenly, go through the roof, fall below standards. So let them continue to guide students in research while you increase the number of teachers and stop penalizing students like this. This is a eminently doable solution if the administration and the government had a mind to reach the solution.
Okay, fair enough. Professor Mukherjee, I'm going to take final comments from all my guests, beginning with you, of course. What's the way forward according to you?
The way forward is not to interfere with the universities, give them greater autonomy, and certainly not to politicize the atmosphere. And certainly for JNU, since we have been at the receiving end of it, not call us Deshdrohis, anti-nationals. Let us think, let our students think. We produce, as I said, people from in all directions. Economic Times is not leftist. BJP is not leftist. So JNU is not this picture that is drawn, this leftist bastion which is creating revolution. We are not like that.
But why
we
is
are
that
just a fine university.
Why is that picture and why is that image prevalent?
Because there are people in JNU who stand up and give their opinion freely. Now, this is not liked by a government which doesn't believe in free opinion.
Okay, fair enough. So, free opinion, liberal thinking should be encouraged and that's the way forward is what you're
Absolutely. And
suggesting.
JNU
Okay, fair enough.
represents liberalism.
Okay, fair enough. Professor Sharma, your closing comments on the program.
In fact, I would say two things in the end. One, that there's a need for recruiting the faculty so that we observe the rules and regulations. If we don't need rules and regulations, then abolish UGC. Why do we need UGC?
Okay.
So, and secondly, though we should have the liberal and independent thinking and debates in the universities, they are meant for it, but they are not meant for crying that Bharat tere tukde honge inshallah. No, it cannot be permitted.
Nobody
and
said
should
it.
not be permitted.
Nobody
It will
said it.
amount to some kind of anti-nationalism, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Sudesh Verma, is the BJP in favor of liberal thinking and free thinking going forward? Are you going to give universities like the JNU autonomy, more autonomy and a free hand?
BJP believes in liberal and modern values, but this cannot come at the cost of nationalism, Frank. And that's the whole issue. You want to have an independent system. You see, when UGC, nobody is trying to interfere in JNU because we are aware there is an academic council that takes the decision. People
Never
must
can
understand this issue. Government cannot interfere beyond a point. But at the same time, if you say that no, you want to be different, others can follow UGC norms, but JNU would not follow because JNU teachers can handle more students. They are more capable. So this is something which nobody will accept this logic, you know.
Okay.
There has been no test to say that JNU professors are more talented, that they can handle more students. Other professors in the country, they cannot handle. If that is the situation, other professors are also given this liberty, then there will be more and more PhD students, more and more research scholars all across the country.
I'm out of time. I have to get two more comments.
You know, Bharat tere tukde honge and nationalism. You see,
I'm out of time. I have to get
if there are voices like Azadi, Azadi, the liberal voices in JNU must come forward and drown that voice.
Okay, fair
This
enough.
is what we expect.
Mohit Pandey, quick closing comments from you.
See, we want our research back, and it is not about JNU. Everywhere students are agitating, everywhere students are saying that give us our research back, and we are not going to tolerate government's this seat cut and research the attempt to destroy research from the country.
Okay, fair enough. TK Arun, please close the show for us with your concluding remarks.
As I said, the current move in JNU, curtailing admissions to research programs, will do systemic damage not only to JNU but to the country's higher education. A viable solution to have an accelerated program of faculty augmentation. Nobody in JNU, neither students nor faculty, will oppose hiring more faculty. Not having sufficient faculty to guide the student body that they have actually cuts into the faculty's time available for their own research. I don't think they really want to give up their own research. So hiring faculty is something that everybody will welcome. Have an accelerated program to hire faculty to increase the teacher-student ratio. And while this is happening, don't penalize the students, don't curtail the intake. Let JNU faculty bear an additional burden, which they are willing to for the time being, and in the meantime, increase your faculty hiring.
Okay.
This is completely workable without causing damage to either JNU, its current batch of students, or to the higher education sector of the country as a whole.
That is your workable, viable solution that you're proposing. Remains to be seen what really happens in the days to come. That's all the time we have on this edition of The Big Picture. I'd like to thank TK Arun, Rajvir, Sharma, Sudesh Verma, Aditya Mukherjee and Mohit Pandey. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. That's all the time we have. See you again next time.